You are now tuned in to the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, where we will be discussing actual audio and visual clips captured during the team's investigations. Hear firsthand eyewitness accounts from fellow team members and special guests. Now smash that like, subscribe, and follow button, and let's get ready to welcome team leader and your host, Eric Vanderlaan, and tech specialist and co-host, Mike Delcoro.
Happy Monday, everybody. Mike, I'm back.
Yeah, you are.
I've never been absent on the show, but
it was weird. It was weird not having you.
I was there in spirit. I watched the second half, though. But I'm your host, Eric Vanderlaan, host of the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network and team leader of War Party Paranormal Research. And right over there.
What's up, guys? My name is Mike Delcoro. I'm a tech specialist, investigator, and case manager with War Party Paranormal, and your co-host. And we got a great show for you guys tonight. I'm going to let Eric tell you what we're getting into.
Yeah, we do. We have one of our good friends. We have Dave Juliano, demonologist, paranormal investigator, and owns the best ghost hunting store on the planet.
That's
ghost hunting store, right?
Sure does.
Why is everyone quiet? No, everyone's all right. It's just us two. But anyway, yeah. So we're gonna have a great show tonight. I created an intro, and Mike, you want to see it?
I sure do.
All right, here we go. And we were at one of his favorite places, White Hill Mansion.
Yeah, we sure were.
Not too long ago. It was super active. We were just talking about that. But without further ado, let's bring Dave on the show. Welcome to the show, Dave.
I love that intro. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how you been, man?
The goatee's looking better, though, by the way.
I keep changing it up so I don't look like the wanted posters. You know? Big long beard, and I shave it, trim it down, then I'll probably just go just the goatee. Constantly keep everything.
That'll be cool to get you on a wanted poster with the clergy collar.
There you go. That'd be a keepsake.
Yeah.
So how you been? How's everything going, man? Been busy, I see. You been doing some different events, some different classes and stuff out there, which is awesome. Get people interested and get people going and learning it the right way, you know, and see you been getting out there. So that's good.
Yeah, there's a little hiccup there, but getting back out there this weekend, I'm going to be at Ohio State Reformatory. Or sold out event, so that's
awesome.
That's always nice when that happens.
Yeah, definitely.
So that'll be a fun time.
And the event is sort of similar, like the one that we went to at White Hill, where you have celebrity guests, and I believe you guys had an investigation later on that night.
This is just the investigation at night.
Oh, okay.
Just doing a simple thing there. But I've only investigated there twice, and I've seen maybe a 10th of the building.
Oh yeah.
Last time I was there, I spent like about four hours just in the chapel alone because stuff was happening. I didn't want to leave. So
yeah,
it's a cool place.
Yeah, it's like we're obviously earlier we were talking about White Hill. I mean, we've been there. We were there for a little bit during the first the Paracon there, and we came back at night and we got to walk around and check it out a little bit, and then we investigated. We still didn't get to see the whole building. That place is large, and it was like, and that's what happens. You start getting activity, you don't want to move on. You want to stick where it is. You don't want to leave fish to find fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the captains told me years ago. But yeah, no, that place is fantastic. Tell us a little bit about when you do, some of your lectures and things like that. What are you normally talking about and get some people interested and see what kind of things they'll be learning and you'll be talking about at these events?
when I'm doing like just a short presentation at an expo or something, I try to usually do one that kind of mixes a little humor in, but has some serious points to it, and then slowly gets more and more serious. So you have their attention at first, right off the bat. But it's what's the most dangerous thing in ghost hunting, and it's not what you think. It's us. We are the most dangerous factor in ghost hunting, just because of all the things, whether ridiculous or just not thought about things that people do that can put themselves and other people at risk.
I can tell you ridiculous.
There's just things that I go over some of the ones that are over the top that people can't believe actually happened, and then you slowly get to the more serious ones. But there's a lot of stuff that really, when you're going out places, people who don't go and do any kind of protection, or aren't paying attention to the people around them, that's a recipe for disaster there.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like some of the places that we go to, it's not the spirits that we're worried about. It's the people that are living. I mean, we've been into abandoned places where we got to clear the area, make sure it's safe. I'm a big klutz, so speaking of getting hurt, like just tripping over tombstones, knocking my head on
Yeah.
on the ceiling where it's low, and like I'm the one that's always getting hurt, getting stitches.
Well, we tell people that too. Like, sometimes it's not always, scary. We're not going to bring you to an event where there's something dark going on. So if you get startled or something, don't run. It's dark. There's stairs, steep stairs.
Right.
Because a lot of these places, the stairs aren't to our code; they're to the code back in the 1900s. So, you're in a different atmosphere that you're not familiar with. It's dark. Be careful. It's not like what you see on TV. You don't be running around and fall down the stairs and break your neck. That's a thing.
We'll actually do like a cleansing if we do have an event. If anyone like feels like they need one, a lot of time it's more like psychological, and like you do the cleansing and they feel better, but
we'll take them outside if someone's getting up there having some issues, help them ground, do something along those lines. Because people get overwhelmed just by something they're not used to.
Exactly.
We were just at White Hill on Saturday doing a public event there. And you walked in there, and I thought the building was empty. There was everybody; they were all so caught up in what was happening and watching everything. It was silence, except for you heard of the occasional equipment going off. Other than that, these people were just totally into it. It was odd because it was so quiet in there. I thought, am I at the right place? For a night, but it was a really, really good night for them. Everyone walked out with a smile on their face. So
that's awesome.
That's the best. And we were just talking about White Hill. Like sometimes, like I was telling you, we were just sitting in that living room by the stairwell, and Franny is like in the chat. She was there too. And Mike and I were just sitting there, just being quiet. We didn't even want to investigate because we were just hearing crazy noises, like footsteps, to the point where like I had to get up and go upstairs to see if anything was there. It was just the wildest thing I've ever experienced. And I've heard footsteps, but
we were just listening with our own ears. And I ended up grabbing my Zoom. Listening. I grabbed my Zoom real quick and was doing a little bit of live listening. But yeah, and hey, those front windows in that room, they were like rattling, and there was no train or anything, and there was no wind, and it was almost like they were rattling as we heard the footsteps upstairs. It was wild. Cool. Yeah, we caught it all on video, but I don't know if you've ever heard those rattle, if that's something normal or.
I've never heard them rattle, but I was telling you guys about how it sounded like it was a bowling ball dropped like right above us, and there was just no one on that floor. So the audible stuff, I've heard the footsteps. It's one of those places that you go and it almost never disappoints. There's always something going on, and usually it's across different floors too. So it's an interesting night.
Yeah, that place is definitely one of my top favorite locations. I mean, we're not coming out with the episode until season 3. It's going to be our first episode, and we had April Brusette with us, and she was picking up on some really wild stuff. And she was naming. I don't think she knows much of the history there, and she was naming off relatives and different things that we found on the family tree poster, like later on upstairs. So it was really neat. It was really neat. I think Eric got an important phone call, so he had to drop out real quick. But so what else has been new? Anything else going on that how's the residential cases up in here? It seems like it's been a little slow for us down here.
Yeah, it has slowed down, but we're still getting a disproportionate amount of the cases that seem to look a little darker than usual, and that's been the theme for the past few years. I don't know if COVID and all that just added to the negativity of everything, and we're still like on a downward trajectory.
Yeah, it seemed like it slowed down. Hey, April, she's here in the chat here. So and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, because when we talk about dark things and stuff like that, and it's something that we at War Party always like to make sure that we use those words very, very rarely and selectively, because what happens is how it is. Guys on YouTube are claiming everything in the world is a demon because they want clicks and views. But you're the real deal. And these cases that turn dark and things are passed to you through other people and things like that nature. Like if we got into something, Eric and I were doing a residential and it got real dark or something like that, we would contact somebody,
I would call you
or Johnny Zavis or somebody that has the experience, because it's very, very rare that we get real dark stuff going on. I mean, if it's human and it's dark, that's one thing. But if it starts to tend to be something that we think is non-human, and those are some of the stuff that you deal with, for our viewers and listeners and things like that, because most of them are investigators themselves. How do you start to deal with something like that?
How we start handling the case, you mean?
Yeah, when it's demonic or something that you think is non-human that could be dangerous.
I think one of the mistakes that people make is running in too fast to try to help, because the people tend to be panicked. It tends to be very bad stuff that's going on, but the worst thing you could do is hop on your white horse and ride in to save the day, because you don't know what's going on yet. You haven't done any of the legwork, any of the research. So we do a questionnaire. We go and meet with them once or twice to go over even more minute details that we need to know as much as we possibly can. Then we decide what the next course of action is, because at least then we can make an educated guess even at that point of where to start. There's no like cookie cutter approach where you can just run in and let's do a house blessing. That may not be the best thing for that situation, and there is no
throwing oil on fire, right?
Right. It's not like there's no cookie cutter approach, because each case literally is different. It's a different location, different fear, different person. So it's a different combination. So even you might see something that seems like it was a case before that you've dealt with, and you dealt with it a certain way. You can't fall into that trap. You have to treat them all the same. And sometimes people get frustrated because we're going a little bit slower, but we're saving them a lot of heartache and trauma if we go faster, and we wind up making things worse.
Yeah. And a lot of times it doesn't take one or two investigations. It's follow through. You got to keep on following up with them, let them know that you're always going to be there, available, and you'll be back. But it doesn't happen in one shot.
Yeah, it's never one shot. Only in the movie it's one shot, because they needed to keep it under a certain time frame. Right? Otherwise, it'd be one hell of a movie.
Exactly. Haunted Files episode. Just joking.
It'd be a whole season just at one place.
Yeah, exactly. And our co-founder Zap always said something that made me laugh, but it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes when we're doing residentials, he'll say, listen, it's not like we come in and we have a bottle of Ghost Be Gone and we're just going to be like, shh, and then we're out of here. You know what I mean? It takes homework, and there's things that you guys got to do to change the energy in the home. You know, you're going to have homework, you know what I mean? And
that's one of the key things, even with the bad stuff. Something, whether it was intentional or, you know, unintentional, got them to the place where they're at with something there. They have to make sure that they don't do anything to bring it back or bring something else negative back in. So there's a whole bunch of lifestyle change. It might just be, you know, small things, but it's something they're going to have to continue to do, because, you know, we can come out and maybe help with some touch-ups here and there and be there for support. Yeah, but we can't come out and do, you know, full-blown, you know, whole whatever it's exorcism, blessings, whatever. We can't constantly be doing that. They need to take up and, you know, help themselves. So we walk them through that, and we give them the tools to do that, and we kind of explain the whole deal where if you know, you make another mistake, yeah, there's a risk that something comes back in. So you really want to stick with this and, you know, keep up with it.
We had one case that the client was calling us when things got too heavy or too much, and then we would go there, but then when we would leave, she wouldn't follow any of the stuff that we left with her, and she would start, you know, she was into metaphysical stuff and doing stuff, and then start doing things to make it more active again. And then once it got too heavy, and then call us in, and we were like, listen, we can't keep doing this. You know what I mean? If you're not going to help yourself, it's either all or nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be sitting at home conjuring up things and doing stuff and then call us when you get, you know, overwhelmed or it gets too heavy. Like, you got to stop, you know, or don't stop. And then, you know what I mean? But we can't keep coming back and doing this, you know, you have to change.
Investigators to do that, though. I mean, really is. When I was, you know, early on, it was tough for me to know when to say when. You know, when am I going to tell the client, no, look, I can't do this anymore. We're going to have to stop. If you're not going to, you know, follow, it's like we're giving them a prescription. We're going to come in, get them a little healthy. Here's the prescription. If you're not going to take it, or you're going to do other things that are going to make it come back, then I can't, you know, don't call us. We can't.
And a lot of times we're the last resort. Like, if it comes down to like us having to go to your house, you're like, you should be listening to what we're telling you to, you know?
You would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not that case. It's just,
but and we've had that fact too, where, you know, we were taught from Scotty, God rest her soul, and Zap and these guys on with residential cases,
Tim Yancey,
and Tim Yancey and these guys, and, you know, we'll go in and we'll ask them to step outside or something while we do EVPs, because we don't want them to misinterpret something, you know what I mean? Like, or hear something. We want to get a feeling for ourselves before they're just, you know, we show them what we captured. And sometimes they get a little frustrated with that because they wanted the dog and pony show, you know. And you know, it's hard to sometimes to tell people, listen, you got to change your lifestyle. You know, what's going on here is feeding what's happening. You know what I mean? It's hard to look somebody in the eye and tell
in your house, clean up your house, hug your wife, you know, do something fun, like bring positivity in your house. You know, that makes a big difference.
Open the curtains, put more lighting in, get some house plants, get a pet, whether it's like fish. Fish are great. Tank, water, the moving water, that's great. That's easy. You know, adopt a dog or a cat. That all makes a difference. And it doesn't sound like, it sounds silly when people are in the middle of that, but it really will make a difference. And at least something like that, they can, you know, they'll maintain. If you give them stuff like that, where it's something simple that they can do, they'll keep on following through with that without even realizing that they're continuing that positive energy. I'm glad you guys get don't let the clients listen to what they're doing with the, you know, the EVPs and what you're saying, because
that's one of
the things I teach when I do my Ghost Hunting 101 class is that, you know, we use equipment different ways in different locations, because anything like, say, like a ghost box, I won't let my people bring ghost boxes into a private house.
No, neither do we.
Anything that makes a sound or words, because I can't control what's coming out, and it only takes one word to throw someone off, you know, off the edge completely, because they're not going to unhear it. And you're already dealing with the balance of, you know, mental health and mental wellness, because people are
Correct.
under serious stress, depression, anxiety, all being caused by this. And you bring your ghost box in and it says like, one word that pushes them a little more. You can't take that back.
Yeah, we won't share anything after we review everything.
Yeah. And then, like you said, there's a lot of equipment that we will use when we're doing our events, when we're out investigating places for the haunted files, because we're testing different things, we're trying experiments, that's our time, but when we do it in residential, it's strictly the bare minimum. We're going to check for EMF, we're going to use high-end recorders, we're going to do certain things, but we're not going to come in there with a spirit box, like you said, and a portal and all these things, an SLS camera. Like those things are for a different time.
My Ghost Radar app, I'll bring that. No, I would never bring that.
Well, when you're doing that, you're there for a reason. You're there for that client to help them with whatever help they need.
Yeah.
Even just peace of mind to know they're not crazy, they're not imagining things.
Mm-hmm.
That you're there for a reason. So your entertainment, or you getting that great EVP, or have that great portal session, that's not a reason. That shouldn't even enter the equation when you're doing a private house.
Right.
Yeah, correct. To me, it's just ethics.
Yeah.
What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on you personally getting a good piece of evidence, or are you focused on helping the people that you are there to help?
Yeah. We're trying to figure out what's going on. That's what we're trying to do, trying to get to the bottom of it. We don't care. We're not looking to try to get amazing evidence, because we're not going to share it. Everything is private.
Yeah, everything that we do, especially, is what's the word? Confidential, and we don't share anything of that side of it. So and just so some of the viewers out there, if you do watch our episodes of the Haunt Files, Paraflix, different things, that's different. That's when we're testing equipment, we're trying new experiments. We're
not going to be doing a Delco inside someone's home.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But there's different tools for different different things, right? So but yeah, Dave, tell us a little bit about you have a really well-known store, ghost hunting store, the Ghost Hunter store, and that's been around. You've been you were one of the first brick and mortar paranormal.
We were the first. We were the first online in 2000, and then this was about maybe 9 years later. We opened the first brick and mortar store, and we've had a few spread out through New Jersey and in Gettysburg. So it's 24 years now.
Wow. Okay, cool.
You have a store in Gettysburg?
We had us 2 stores in Gettysburg.
Okay. We were just there. I was like, damn, I would have gone.
Logistics were just tough. We're 3 hours from there. So day-to-day management is very difficult to do if you're not going to be there day to day. So we're looking at stuff up here again, back to where we're right over the bridge from New Jersey. So we're looking to go back where we were before, in the same general vicinity. So it's hard to find stuff now. It's a totally different ball game than it was years ago.
Yeah.
Pricing wise and taxes and all that. So
oh god.
But everything that's on the website is actually more that you'd find it in the store, because there's so many things that are customizable. And we obviously wouldn't have every different combination at the store. We would have like a basic thing that you'd have to wait for the customization anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So that's why I tell people, it's like, go online, because you're going to see stuff that you definitely wouldn't see, in the store.
I hate going to any kind of store. I'd rather buy online anyway. So much easier.
I don't know. So like, I would like to like something like that though. I'd be like a little kid in the candy store. I'd be like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, we always had them set up like it was like, it was a destination too. When we had all like, decorations, and there was some animatronic things in there.
Oh, cool.
We had a whole wall that was the Ghost Hunter tool chest. So we'd have equipment out. We'd have DVD players, or the DVR systems, but opened up, so people could see how they worked, what they did, all different things like that. So it was a hands-on little like play area for people when they came in to see how this works and why it works. So because if you're coming someplace that you want to see it hands-on, that's the whole reason why you're going so you can see it touch it, see how it works. So that's the only thing I miss, because I like doing that, face to face kind of thing, as opposed to, through chat or on the phone. It's a little more difficult. I remember times where I set up entire DVR systems on the floor in the store, hook all the cameras up, put them in different rooms, just to show someone that, so I knew when they went on their investigation that weekend, they knew exactly how to hook everything up and what to do. So
very nice.
They appreciate it too, obviously, but I mean,
oh heck yeah,
it just, it has its pros and cons, but I definitely like that part of it.
Right.
Yeah, and getting to, and when people come in and get to talk to them face to face and and stuff like that, because it's more of like it's not like it's a specialized thing that people are looking for. So when they come in there, they're going to be very excited about it, and probably usually in a good mood, right? Because they're coming into a place that has stuff that you can't find, but online. So they're probably looking around, check it out, get to talk to them face to face, show them how to use the stuff, and probably a lot of good interactions. I got to meet a lot of cool people too.
Made a lot of friends through that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I bet. Eric.
Yes, sir.
What do you have any questions for Dave?
Well, what I was gonna ask about like what process you use, like when you do not just per se if something's demonic, like to do like a cleansing, like what's your preferred process?
I guess it depends on
I've seen people do a different way.
Yeah. We're not I'm not a fan of going in and just I think everyone's go-to thing, because they see it online, is like white sage. White sage and smudge it. Now I'll use white sage, but I'll use it like smudge my equipment, smudge my car if we want to smudge ourselves when we come out of a place. But I won't use it inside a location, just because I've seen it piss stuff off too many times, and I don't know why, but seems to be a common factor with making things worse at times, and I don't want to run that risk.
Right.
So I personally,
holy water.
I'll use, if I'm just going to do strictly like a smudging thing, I'll go with frankincense, myrrh, and copal. Or if I'm going to do sage, I'll do like desert sage, copal, desert sage, and cedar, something along that. So something that cuts the little edge off the strong smell of the sage, but also adds something there, like sage and lavender. It's adding some positivity and some clearing.
So add like a sweetness to it.
Yeah. So it serves a purpose too.
Yeah, so I heard a lot about frankincense, to use that. People prefer that.
Yeah, frankincense and myrrh. It's like what they use in church. And
I throw copal in there too. Copal's another one that was meant for. I mean, it's great when you're doing, a house blessing or a minor exorcism, or something along those lines. Which is a minor exorcism is something on a building or an object. But it serves a natural purpose too. I mean, it's been used for millennia. For going back to the Egyptians, used it for like cleansing purposes. So it has something that definitely clears out negativity and bad energies. So they're simple to use. You get that little charcoal tablet, pop it in, sprinkle the stuff on top, and you're good to go. And we've used the sticks and the cones too. It depends on the location.
What's that ball that they use like in church that you put
it has a piece of coal in it,
and then you
swing it around.
Yeah. I tend not to use the one on the chain, because we were doing something with someone else. They hit the closet door with it, and then ash like shot up, and I'm like hoping we don't catch anything on fire. So that was the last time using that.
Yeah,
that person showed us something but we don't want to do. That's the early days when I was learning. So I learned, don't use the one on the chain. Use the handle one. That's much more stable.
Well, I was listening recently to Bishop Long, and he was talking. He had like a 2-hour thing on sage. I didn't watch the whole thing though, but the one thing I thought that was interesting that he was saying, he will never go with the censer into apartment buildings because they don't allow the burning of coal. So then his option would be a type of sage. For that, but I never even that would never even cross my mind. Like if someone was using something like that, like I don't know, but I thought that was an interesting fact.
we had an instance where we were using the incense, and they were in a half a double, so the two houses joined together, but it was rental properties. So by law in New Jersey, they had to have a hardwired fire alarm system, and smoke detector. Well, there was too much smoke that got kicked up from the incense that it actually tripped the alarm. So the fire company came out and everything. So it was another whole distraction that night. But what we'll do in a case like that is use just the sprays. You have the misters, where you have that same combination of the essential oils put in there.
Murray actually makes those.
You're getting the stuff around. It's still accomplishing the same thing without having to worry about.
So it's still effective than actually using the actual like raw plant, right?
It's just as effective because they're getting the oil directly from the plant, just like the resins are directly from the plant. They're derivative directly from it. So it's not like it's artificial. It's definitely from that plant. So you're getting all these same attributes that you would have if you just took the raw plant and did it too. And in some cases, it's not. Like some of the raw plants are not going to be something that you're really going to be able to smudge with. It really needs to be broken down to something more conducive.
Yeah, just like when you're cooking with oregano, you want to sort of grind it a little bit to get that flavoring out, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I'll have to remember that one.
There you go. Cooking in the paranormal.
Explain it.
All right, Dave. So real quick, we got a couple of ads we got to run, and we'll be right back. And I think one of them you might have seen before.
What is up, my paranormal peeps? You may be wondering why we're holding something like these in our hand, and my buddy's going to tell you all about it.
The reason that we have this paranormal equipment in our hand is because we're giving a big shout out to the Ghost Hunter store, one of our sponsors. They're your one-stop shop for everything paranormal.
That's right, and you may have seen some of these equipment on your favorite paranormal TV shows.
Exactly, especially the Haunted Files on Paraflix.
Mike's got that right.
All right, guys, so check them out, and if you use the code word Ghost Gone Wild,
not Girls Gone Wild,
Ghost Gone Wild, in your checkout, you'll get a discount on your purchase. Thank you, guys.
Peace. What's up, my paranormal people? Eric and Mike here from the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, wanting you to remember the importance of hydration. Remember, we hunt ghosts. We don't want to turn into ghosts. Dehydration can lead to inflammation and even degenerative disease. So hydration is crucial.
Whether you're up all night investigating the paranormal, sky watching, or Bigfoot, Fuel Up Hydration System is designed to support motivation, concentration, and rejuvenation with the best immune-enhancing delivery system available today.
Experience the benefits of Fuel Up with their Feel the Difference money-back guarantee.
Visit fuelup.gg/warparty for their special offer that includes free shipping.
Fuel Up for life.
Hey, Eric, how do we do?
It's awesome.
All right. Well, maybe we should stick to hunting ghosts. I don't know if commercials is our thing.
True that.
And guys, everybody that's listening, if you know that we have a show on Paraflix called The Haunted Files, we just finished up season 2, had the finale about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and then we're already filming for season 3. And the Ghost Hunter store and Paraflix have actually been working together, so that's great news. And I have a little trailer from our last episode. If you guys want to check it out, make sure you check it out because now's a good time to catch up. You can catch up through season 1, season 2. All the episodes are out there on Paraflix. If you use the code word, The Haunted Files 25, you'll get 25% off your annual subscription. I think it's $4.99 a month regularly before the discount. So make sure you check it out. There's a lot of good content on there, and they have all kinds of different things, shows, movies, music videos, all kinds of fun stuff. And here is a quick trailer from our season finale of season 2. This episode of The Haunted Files, Eric and I travel to one of the darkest locations that we've investigated in an extremely long time. This abandoned mental hospital is what nightmares are made of.
I feel very uneasy. I mean,
Me too. I got like goosebumps too.
did you hear that? First thing I get is out and incubus.
Dude, that's an incubus, right?
Yeah. Out and incubus.
An incubus is a demon in male form.
Sort of happy that we're leaving, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Pretty freaky, so we're out of here.
Yeah. To be honest with you, like, there's very few places that I'm like happy to get out of. And this is one of them. Just didn't feel right in there. I'm kind of happy that we're headed out.
All right, we got launch this back.
By the way, we had a wild dowsing rod session, and people are like, thinking, well, how wild can a dowsing rod session get? But it was wild, and they were from the Ghost Hunter store, so check it out.
Yeah, that night,
like crazy.
that place,
yeah, it was wild.
it was really eerie, strange, and it was one of those places where I really don't get scared at many places. Like it takes a lot, and I was like, all right, it's time that we got to get out of here. You know what I mean?
And that's
like,
good. That's following common sense. That if your gut's telling you, hey, it's time to go, then go. You know, a lot of people.
You heard me there at the end of that trailer. I was like, for real. I was like, I had enough. I got to get fresh air, and I'm done.
It's error on the side of caution. You know.
Yeah, that place was real
to investigate. You know, there'll be another night.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
Yeah, that place was, and it was super eerie because, you know, it was shut down like many asylums were, you know, because of lack of funding and mistreatment to patients and a lot of deaths. And there was, you know, a lot of the worst because there wasn't a lot of asylums here in Florida, you know, and it was one of the first ones. And it not only was an asylum that was there, it was built on a World War II air base. So just walking through there and going through here, you have all this history
like the scene of X-Files, you know, like this old World War II hangars or like a half dome. Like it was just, I don't know. And
it was
dark, a few lights,
and you know, there was one patient there. He actually lived. I tell the story in the episode, but
crazy story.
He was really upset about his dates getting pushed out for release. So he broke out and broke into the maintenance area and sawed off both of his own hands.
Jeez.
Yeah, they ended up reattaching his hands, and he didn't pass away. But these are the kind of people they were dealing with. You know, I think there was like 10 deaths in that small facility. Yeah, it was pretty heavy.
And when you do those kind of places, that, you know, people don't necessarily think that maybe I should protect myself a little bit more, make sure I'm feeling good, I'm not run down, I'm not in a bad mood, any of that stuff, because there's a lot of negativity just based on the kind of stuff that was there. And even if the ground just and the property just absorbs some of that stuff, you don't want to be taking it home with you at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's just energy or it's something else, you know, be on point when you go to those kind of places, prisons, asylums, all that. It's serious.
And the other really thing that made it extra eerie is there was like no graffiti or nothing. Like there was no, like it was untouched. Like everything was still stacked, like where they put it when they closed the doors. There was still a lot of stuff remaining, and it just
30 years ago.
Yeah, and it just give it that extra
equipment, the patient's paperwork. It's just wild. I noticed that like every like state-run facility, even like correctional facilities, when they close it down, everything's left behind. Even the paperwork. I would think that would be like a huge compliance issue. I don't know.
It is, but that's
a government for you.
Yeah. Like even when I was in Ledgeworth,
pretty much.
What's that?
They just lock the door and never go back.
It's like exactly like what it is. Yeah. We used to investigate this one correctional facility like near Lake Okeechobee called the Belglade Correctional Facility. They actually tore it down. I think it's like a cement plant or something like that. But it was just like that place too. I mean, just like everything left behind. They even had like an officer's quarters outside the perimeter of the correctional facility. Were all like, and it was like all like 70s style, with like wood panel, and they had like the old furniture. It even had a gym with like these old Nautilus equipments and the weights and everything. It was just crazy.
Yeah, wild. And I feel like places like that do hold a lot of residual energy. Just the amount of trauma that was going on there. You have all the patients, plus you had the stress from the nurses, being understaffed and overwhelmed. You had families coming in there that were, stressed out, overwhelmed, and getting saddened or upsetting news, and just the residual energy that is pushed into this property, not to mention anything that is intelligent that is there. Yeah, some of these places, man, you really got to be, like you said, a little weary and kind of and protect yourself and make sure that. And one of the things that you mentioned that I don't think people say enough is if you're not feeling up to par, push it off. It ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, reschedule, do it another time. You don't want to go in there if your mental psyche is not right. If you're dealing with some personal issues, or you're upset, or you're not feeling 100%, that's just inviting things to you're vulnerable is the word I'm looking
for. That one presentation that I do, I was telling you about, that's kind of one I double down on that. I showed some pictures, over the top pictures of like, not feeling well. The guy has his car is crushed under like a dump truck, and it's like, okay, well, maybe that you're not in a good mood that day because of what happened at work. Stay home. Even if you got to eat $50, $60 for whatever it costs you to go, you can go again. But if you go and something happens, just trying to save that money is going to seem silly at that point. You can't undo it once you've gone. It's better to just say, hey, let's go try another day and just wait.
Money won't be an issue, that's for sure, if that happens.
Right.
Right. And it's hard for guys like us too that are hosting public events, because we feel like there's an obligation that we have to go. When we're hosting these public events and things of that nature. And it's almost like, we might even sometimes ignore our own advice because we have paying customers and things of that nature that are going to be there. But you really have to look at that, if you're feeling a little under the weather, or even mentally or physically, it's best to protect yourself,
Well, we got a lot of paranormal investigators here in the chat, and like even like the seasoned investigator can be overwhelmed, or something can happen to me. I mean, it happened to me. So that's very important.
You're never too experienced where something right. Something can happen to anybody at any time.
No matter how strong
place,
you are,
time. So
how badass you are.
The ego and bravado are just that's a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And like you said, it can happen to anybody. I haven't had, thank God, an attachment that I've brought to my home, but I did have an experience that after I left in the location and I went back to the hotel, that the hotel room, I started having activity, and I shut that shit down. I tell people,
you used to ghost be gone.
No, I mean, I feel like if it's a human entity or something like that, and you assert your dominance and you say, listen, this is my place. I know you're here. You might be trying to get a hold of me or show that you're here, grab my attention, but you're not welcome here. And you have, you know what I mean? And you kind of talk to them almost like you would talk to a child, you know, just asserting your dominance and things like that. I feel like that works a lot of the times. Maybe not every time if you're dealing with something very strong. But I think a lot of times, you know, you have that, you are the living, you know, you have the power over most of that, you know, so you got to assert your dominance. And if you feel or show that you're frightened and things like that, sometimes things will feed off that. You know, they're like, "Oh, I'm getting a rise."
That energy that you're putting off, the fear, all that stuff, you know, it is putting energy out there that something could use.
I almost
call it setting boundaries with people. That even if people think it's silly to like be talking out loud to something that they can't see, a lot of times that will work. You know, you're kind of like saying, "Hey, look, you know, as long as you're firm, but you're respectful too."
Yes,
that will work. You know,
I say that all the time too. You get more bees with honey, right? You know, so you know you could be stern and forward, but also yet be respectful. You know,
absolutely.
So. And being a paranormal investigator and doing a residential case takes a special type of person, because you're not only being a paranormal investigator and, you know, trying to use your equipment to find out what's going wrong, but most of the times you're like a counselor. I mean, these people don't have a problem with paranormal. They got drug problems, they got abuse, they got mental issues, and it's a lot. I mean, we're not professionals, but luckily we have people that we can defer it to. But like, I don't know about you, Dave, but lately, like our investigations, it's just been issues like that. Drug problems, mental problems. Now I can see sometimes like maybe how the paranormal can like absorb that, and maybe something.
Yeah, sometimes the hardest part is when it's both, right? If the person does have some kind of mental issues going on, but there is paranormal activity there, so some people might write it off.
Yeah, a lot of teams will just walk away, won't even deal with it. You know, I'll deal with it, but you have to that takes a lot more time, because you got to go even slower through the process, because you have to find out where one starts and, you know, the other one stops. What is mental health? What is something else? And eliminate stuff so you're not looking at the wrong things, and that can take a little extra time.
Yeah,
but I stick with it, and I do it because I know, especially around here, there's not a lot of people that would stick with it. They see someone, you know, has a problem, you know, they're gone. And that's, you know, I see someone who has a problem that now has a bigger problem, you know, maybe I could help. So it's, you know, got to at least try. I can't turn my back and walk away.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We've always, you know,
actually, we had one investigation where we had no choice. We couldn't turn around because we were locked in.
Yeah, that was something that we learned.
A valuable lesson that I'll tell everyone that's listening and watching right now, and you're a paranormal investigator, don't give yourself don't lock yourself into a place. So like, for example, keep a long story short, we had an investigation, and this property was like a junkyard with the house in the middle of it, a couple of trailers where people living, and it's all fenced in with the gate. So we pull in, and there's like three of us and 3 cars. Guy shuts the gate, locks it, and we go in the house. And now we're locked in. It was just crazy. Something you would see in a movie. First of all, I think they were like on meth or something like that. The guy had like shotgun shells, like just laying all over the house. They had a child that is not probably like, I don't know what, like 2 or 3 years old, still soiled diapers, like not even potty trained. It was just a complete mess. And I don't know if you ever met Scotty Burns, our co-founder. She's always packing, so she's never scared of anything. And she she told the lady the truth. Listen, you need to get away from your boyfriend. You got to stop the drugs. I mean, we saw like splatters of blood, like on the ceiling, like they were injecting themselves. And other tip that I can give to everyone out there is the whole time, because they were outside the house where we were investigating, of course, if you're like with your investigators and you're seeing shotgun shells and stuff, you're going to be talking shit, right? The guy's listening to us and watching us on the security cam, and I'm like freaking out. Like, they come back in, the guy doesn't even look at us and goes straight to the room where the shotgun shells are. And I don't know. It was
that's another thing.
Nothing happened. Thank God we were safe, but just never give yourself an opportunity to be locked into a place.
We weren't saying anything bad, but I know Scotty was talking to the wife and was like, "Listen, you need to stay away from him. He's dangerous, and he's belligerent right now." And he's listening.
Were all drugged out.
But he was listening through the cameras that were in the house because a lot of them have audio now. So that's another thing I want to throw out there, just so nobody gets in the same predicament. Careful what you're saying. Make sure that, because a lot of people do have cameras that record and audio as well in their houses. Now it's not uncommon. But yeah,
I had a client that put digital recorders like on bookshelves and places that they weren't out in the open, because she wanted to hear what we were saying. She thought we would be talking about stuff that we wouldn't be telling her.
Okay.
And someone found one, thank God, and no one had really said anything inappropriate, but we could have said stuff that maybe wouldn't have made it into a report or something, or worse, and we would have never known. So I always assume that they can hear when I'm inside a location.
Yeah.
Like I said, we didn't say anything bad, but I know Scotty was saying, like, you want to protect yourself and stay away from this.
We were like, dude, what's this guy doing? There's shotgun shells all over the place. There's blood spattered on the ceiling.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We didn't think about it at the time because we're just pulling into the guy's driveway, But then when he rolls and locks the gate, then you're like, uh-oh.
You get smarter with every investigation. You always learn something new.
Yeah, you want to look at it as like a tactical situation too. Make sure you have your cars available to get to and leave. You don't know what you're stepping into. And some people like glamorize, or residential cases, but it can be very disturbing. Like after leaving that house, it was disturbing because the kids weren't taken care of. There was a lot of stuff going on that you're seeing firsthand. And when I talked to this person as a case manager, when I talked to this person on the phone, and I had them fill out the form that we do when we go through all the medications, and what kind of drugs are you taking, any recreational drugs and medications, how many children are in the home. We have a very, very detailed list. And also we like to talk to them on the phone a little bit too, so we can hear them and see what. She sounded fine and everything looked okay, and obviously they lied on the paperwork, but yeah, we put ourselves in a very disturbing situation.
That's a perfect example of why we learned years ago to do that preliminary visit where you're not investigating, you're just
this was a prelim
during a day.
This was actually a prelim.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
During the prelim?
It was a prelim. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, that get your head spinning right away.
We're not coming back. And man, the lady would not stop texting us after we left, or Mike, even to the point where I'm like, Mike, you got to block her number. And then the daughter started texting them. It was crazy.
Well, you wind up injecting yourself into an unknown situation, domestic situations, this dysfunctional family, dysfunctional people, and you now have put yourself in there, and they see you as someone that can help, maybe not just help with the paranormal. You are the counselor, you are whatever.
Yeah.
You're someone that has shown that you're going to listen.
Yeah, exactly. Because no one will listen to them. We're like the ones that will listen to them. Like,
right.
A lot of our cases come, I don't know about you, but from our events, people want to check us out first. And at the end of the event, they'll be like, you'll never believe what's going on in my house.
But what people always start off with saying, you're not going to believe, you're going to think I'm crazy, or you're not going to believe.
Exactly.
That's the first line. You're going to think I'm crazy.
It's like, no, I may think you're crazy, but it has nothing to do with what's going on in your house. You still make a paranormal.
I'm crazy and I'm coming in your house. Watch out.
So there's two of us now here. We're both crazy. So let's go see what we can figure out here.
Yeah, I talk to people I don't see at night.
Yeah, and and some of our listeners, they're like, like somebody just put the parts of ghost hunting that they'll never tell you about, right? That we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on that's, that they don't put out, that people don't put out there. And, these are the real life things that you
But
run
I
into,
tell you one thing, if you can help someone out, it's the biggest reward you'll ever receive, bigger than any type of monetized award. It's the greatest feeling.
Absolutely.
Help people out.
Absolutely. When they go, thank you, and you get that gratitude and and you give somebody comfort, and to let them know that if something is going on and they're not imagining things, that there are things going on. There's no better feeling than to help people out. And that's why, that's what War Party originated from, was doing residentials. And then we started doing these public events to meet people, get our name out there. And then, more things and opportunities came. And that's, but our root and our main goals is to help people.
It takes special people to do that. Not everybody or not every team is like equipped for that, and that's okay. But just know what your limitations are, or what you want to focus on, and it's kind of like stay in your lane kind of thing. If you don't do private houses, don't decide, well, here's one, let's go do it.
Yeah.
If you don't have experience doing it and you don't understand all the nuances to it and everything, then maybe check your ego and you'll find someone who can do it.
Yeah.
Real
quick,
or
I
if you
gotta
want
get in compliance mode, but I just gotta let the KGRA digital broadcasting listeners know that they're moving on to the next show. And if you want to continue listening or watching our show, you can check us out on YouTube, War Party Paranormal YouTube page. And for people who are watching on YouTube and Facebook, check out KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. They got amazing shows there. They talk about UFOs, cryptids. They have celebrities there. They have Bishop Long from Ghost Adventures. So check it out. I'm done.
Perfect.
Sweet and short.
Yep. And like we were saying too, is and if it's something that you are passionate about and you want to learn, you want to get into it, it's a totally different. I would, going and doing an investigation and doing a residential or night and day, so if it is something that you are interested in, maybe tag along with a team that has the experience doing it and just kind of observe. That's how I
gotta be careful. You're messing with people's lives,
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Like I was saying about the mental health, people don't take that in consideration sometimes, that you don't know everything that's going on with that person. I mean, you hope you know a lot of it, but you may not, or you might not know how bad it is. And anything you do to make things just emotionally worse for them can really just push them over the edge.
Maybe they didn't take the prescribed medicine for their mental illness. Things start happening, that they can't explain, and it's more like their brain. So you definitely have to know what's going on there.
Somebody has a question here.
You have some questions?
Somebody in the chat had a question here. How does mold and EMF work with demons? Thanks. I don't really understand the question 100%.
Yeah.
But I would say, I mean, I'm going to answer the best that I can from what I'm reading is mold and EMF and things of that nature. If you have a high EMF in the area, it can make you feel like you're being watched. It can give you,
toxic mold can give you hallucinations sometimes.
Yeah, and
like
these
EMF
things,
poisoning, you'll see tons of stuff and hear things, and you would swear on a Bible that stuff's actually there. But I mean, they've done a lot of experiments with that. So both those could be something that, and you should be. Well, you're looking for natural causes too for this stuff. I don't go in and assume, oh, this sounds really bad, it's got to be a demon. That's why we take the time, you do the detective work, and you look around. We just had a house that we found that it was high levels of EMF everywhere. You couldn't find a spot where it wasn't too high anywhere, standing in the middle of any room. So obviously we need to get that taken care of first. Double check it, go back again, make sure it wasn't just a one-off. But take that time. Don't just write it off or ignore it or any of that stuff. You have to put the time in.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you're laying down, you know, if your bed is situated in some kind of a way where there's a breaker panel on the other wall behind you and you're not realizing it, and it's just spitting out EMF right in your dome. I mean, it's definitely not good, you know, and it can make you feel like you're hallucinating, hearing things, feeling stuff. You know, the feeling of being watched and those things. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that could be going on. Yeah.
People, there's some sources of EMF people don't even think about. Fans, tabletop fans, the ones on the stands, even the ceiling fans, they can give off EMF, especially the older ones that weren't shielded that much. Had a case that was the instance, the bed, it was too close to the bed, it was giving off in the hundreds of milligauss. So, you know, move the fan out of the room and all of a sudden that person was fine. Fish tanks, even the modern pumps, the air pumps, give off a lot of EMF, but the older ones will go off, you know, 10, 15 feet away. So you have a small bedroom with one tank in there. Maybe that is something that's causing a problem too. So it's really going through and just taking that extra time to try to figure out, you know, I call it peeling the onion, and people in my group hate to hear me say that, but it is. It's just layer by layer trying to find out what the true cause is.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave, also, what would you, I know you do like a 101 course, right? What would you say, because we're getting towards the end of the show, so like your number one advice that you would give somebody that was coming to you or one of your classes that's starting to get into investigating, and what advice you would give them?
I guess for them to really understand that let's say a majority of the shows, because not all the shows, you know, are giving an accurate portrayal of what it's like to be on an investigation. Most shows are half hour to, you know, 60 minutes, you know, not including commercials, so it's even less time than that. Everything's being compiled into one thing. It's not that active. There's a lot of time where you're sitting in the dark doing nothing, and then there's going through all your evidence. It's great to record video for 6 hours, but you're going to watch the video at normal speed for 6 hours and then listen to the 6 hours of audio you recorded too. So there's work beyond that. You can't do it and then just not follow through with it. So
how many times have you done it and you got you nothing?
Right. So they have to know that going in. They have to know that going in, because otherwise they're going to go out a few times and just get totally disillusioned. And because they're not getting that instant gratification of, as it looks like they're going to get when they watch, the TV shows. Yeah, they don't know how many hours they've spent out there filming to get one or two things happening.
So we have another question coming in here. Can babies see the paranormal? And I would say we can all answer it, but my personal opinion is yes, because they're open-minded. They're not told and shut down. You know,
their brain hasn't been corrupted yet.
Yeah, exactly.
All the things that you're learning through life, you know.
You know, when you're a small child and you see something and you see that and you know that that's there, and you go tell your parents and they're like, "Knock it off, that's nothing." You know, it's your mind playing tricks on you.
Your mind's more open.
You know, until after a while, and then you start to even with the military. You know, like seeing UFOs and things of that nature. They're trained not to say anything, or they get so much flack when they do say something that they're like, "I'm not even going to mention this." You know, it was nothing. I'll blow it off, and subconsciously even blow it off and things of that nature. So I feel pets, animals, children are more susceptible to seeing things that are there than your adult. Yeah.
And I agree with both of you. You guys gave my answers. That's exactly how I would put it too. Yeah. If it's a young child and they're one of the witnesses when we go to a case, we'll get some paper and some crayons and ask them to draw what they're seeing, because I'm going to trust their drawing over what the adults may be describing seeing, because theirs is like unfiltered.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly the word I was trying to find. Their brain is unfiltered, so they're open to anything. We're taught from the beginning to be skeptical.
Right.
Oh, this is the fellow that was messaging me that had some stuff going on in his house.
He's in
And
South
I asked him,
Carolina.
I asked him to tune in tonight. So yeah, I would say, he was mentioning that there was a couple things like thrown around, like a little bit of poltergeist activity going on. And I don't want to give too much of his information out, but I feel like, yeah, that's somebody trying to possibly get your attention, and if there was a family members, in the house, grandparents, great grandparents, something like that, the house has been passed down. They might just be trying to get your attention to show you something, because like, imagine if you're there in this house and you're deceased, and you're still, your spirit is still in this home, and you see people moving in and coming in, and that's your family, and you're like, man, I want to communicate with these people. What do I do? And they'll start maybe moving things, or you start hearing things, and they're trying to get your attention. It's not always a bad thing, I mean,
a lot of places we investigate, it's like good energy, good memories, things like that, and a lot of people get scared of it because they don't understand it.
And people, that spirit might be trying to get a hold of them or get them noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff that they're doing initially is totally being either just not noticed, or just kind of like blown off, explained away. When something's picked up and thrown or moved in front of you, it's harder to explain that away. So it's more of they're upping it enough where okay, try to explain this now. I'm trying to get
yeah, exactly,
right.
Got your attention. So sometimes it's just like that. It's like a flare going up. Last attempt to try to really get your attention with something.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Mike James from Cross the Line Paranormal's on the chat. He's a road warrior. He might go help Aaron Thompson out up in South Carolina. He's in Georgia.
Yeah, he said he's not quite ready to have a team come in yet. I offered that, but I told him to let me know if I need anybody, and we'll give him the information to somebody reputable in the area.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, for sure. And that's the other thing. I mean, I know that sometimes when Dave's on the show, we like to talk about dark things and things of that nature, because that's what he specializes in.
Well, look at the halo above his head. It's angelic,
right? Something's trying to manifest.
but not, I would say more likely than not most of the cases, and most of the stuff that we're dealing with is human. And sometimes when we get things that start to come out dark, sometimes I'll give them a little test or whatever. I'll be like, listen, I know this is you. I don't believe you. If you say, if we start getting demon or devil and things like that, I would say, listen, you're not going to scare us away with that. If you don't want to be bothered and you're just trying to scare us out of here, that's not going to work. Why don't you just talk to me and listen, and I'm not here to harm you or bother you. We will leave soon. We're not going to be here the whole time. We're coming to visit. And I've had the whole situation change, and the whole energy and the responses we get totally change. So sometimes I also feel like if you were an a-hole in life, you're probably going to be an a-hole in your afterlife. So, and then what's the thing to do, right? You, after years of, you might learn, hey, if I say this word, or if I do this and try to tell them I'm something I'm not, I might get them out of here and leave me alone. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
There's different, you got to look at it, and that's why it's so hard to investigate somewhere one night and then claim, oh, I know exactly what's going on here. You never, it's so hard. You have to put in a lot of time into certain locations. Like you said, you can have a whole season on one location. Right. And then, you're also, when you get EVPs and things of that nature, you're getting snippets of a sentence. So something that you might think that you're getting could totally not. Dave, I remember something that you said on the last time we were on the show. Everybody gets an EVP that says "get out" a lot. Like, I don't know why, right? But you were even saying it made a lot of sense. They could be like, "Get out a deck of playing cards and let's play," and we only caught the portion of the sentence.
Exactly.
Right. So you got to kind of put in your time.
Your subconscious. You want to get out. Get me out of this place.
Yeah. So yeah, no, for sure. So it's not always dark and scary. There's sometimes we feel that, I like to say we feel, because we're still learning. Everybody's still learning every day, when it comes into this field. But
no one's going to be an expert until they die.
That's right. And, sometimes people hang back. If they really enjoyed something and they're not ready to move on, and they had a really strong connection between a building or an object, or or waiting for loved ones or something of that nature, they could be completely harmless, and they're just waiting around and hanging out, and
it's a
and
personal decision. It's unique to that individual person. There's a billion reasons why they might be there, and that we like to pigeonhole and put them all in one thing: unfinished business or violent death and all that. But it's a wide array of different reasons. And
they could even there's so, like you said, and looking at near-death experiences, that's one way that I like to look at things, right? If they have a lot of times looking at these near-death experiences, like when they pass, they have the option like to move on or to stay. And if sometimes people might be frightened, I don't want to go into that white light. I don't know what's on the other side of that SOB. I'm going to stay right here, or and meander around for a little while and think about it. I don't know what's over there. I could be frightened and just want to stick around.
I also think that on the other side, there's no time, so we don't know what time they're in, because there is no time. But like going back to like not being negative, like I have a perfect example of that, and that's the Deering Estate down in Miami, Florida. And it's considered one of the most haunted places in Miami. But when you go there, it's the most peaceful, beautiful place you've ever been to. It's just covered in like lush tropical forest, and it's on the bay. It has a keyhole channel that looks out. They actually have photography events, so when people
it is beautiful
for sunrise or for sunset, they'll take pictures there at the keyhole. But Charles Deering, he built the Deering Estate there, and then right after he built it, which I believe was in 1923, he passed away right there, sitting in his wheelchair looking out into the water. So I don't know, I think maybe like that's just something that's very special in his heart, and he's still tied to it.
Maybe that's heaven for him.
Yeah, exactly. Because it looks like heaven when you're there. It's incredibly beautiful if you're in the outdoor nature.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about this, he lived in the carriage house while they were building this house, and was like super involved in the structural. Like, it was built with all kinds of coral and everything, super beautiful. And he was very passionate about this home, and he barely got to live in it.
He was an art collector, so he has all this expensive art in the house and everything.
So, but yeah, very, very neat place. Dave, is there anything else that you want to add? Do you have any events coming up that people could come see you, or anything that you want to promote? Now's your chance.
I got some stuff coming up in the fall. Got some dates coming up in I believe it's November at White Hill Mansion. We always go back there in November. Got an event coming up on the 28th in Gettysburg. It's going to be an investigation at one of the largest Confederate field hospital properties of the David Stewart Farm.
Oh,
and there's also, trying something different that night, we're going to have a gallery reading in the Haunted Barn to see what we may be able to connect with there. So
very nice.
That's coming up shortly. And I'm going to be putting some classes up too. I got to get my classes listed for the second half of the year. I'm still due to do the Demonology 101 and the Ghost Hunting 101. I haven't done either yet this year, so I have to get them on the calendar, most likely November, December timeframe.
They can find that on the Ghost Hunter store website?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, guys, make sure you check that out. Dave, obviously, you could tell he's super knowledgeable, been a lot of experience in the field, and be awesome to learn from him and get out there and do some investigating as well. For me, if you want to check out any of my personal content, other things I got going on, if you go to my website, FLA paranormalresearcher.com, it has links out to all my social media and has some bios and a blog and different things, some interesting reads. And obviously, you could check out warpartyparanormal.com if you need help in the paranormal. And if you reach out to us and we're not in that area, we can push you somebody, a reputable team in, to that area and to you, and recommend somebody that's not going to screw you around and do the right thing. Eric, and I know we have some events coming up and some Paracons that we're going to be at.
I'm pulling up the dates.
And I always refer to Eric for that because I can't remember any of that. So,
well, it's like been crazy because we've had a few events canceled and added new ones. So our next events are going to be in October. We're going to be at the Old Davie Schoolhouse Museum on October 18th. That's a Friday night. And also we're going to be at the Gold Coast Road Museum. You don't want to miss that one because I was there I was at both last Saturday and they were active. Last weekend. Gold Coast is going to be on Saturday, October 26th. And then we have 2 Paracons that Mike and I are going to. And the first one, is it Tifton? James?
No, the first one is
Rock Island.
Rock Island. It's going to be Rock Island Roadhouse Paracon in Illinois. Former YMCA, very haunted building, and they're doing October a Paracon 5th. There. That's the 5th. And then
October
on the
12th is
12th,
Tifton.
We have Tifton Theater, HorrorCon. We're going to be there. Eric, me, Franny, James from Cross the Line Paranormal, Josh Purvis from Searchers, and Beacon is going to be there. And then we're also going to play the Tifton Theater episode that we investigated the theater at the theater
on the big screen.
Yeah, it's going to be really neat.
Pretty
and then
cool.
We're going to do a Q&A afterwards. So make sure you come check that out.
I always forget to plug the Paracons.
Right?
I should have the calendar up all the time when I do that.
Yeah, no, I can't. Like I said, I can never remember. So
and October 19th, Mike and I won't be there, but our awesome teammates will be there. The Gilchrist County Jail is having their Paracon over there, and it's like a fall festival Paracon / thing. So check them out.
And again, we appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching us and listening to us throughout all the different means of radio. And we will see you not next weekend, but the following weekend. Next weekend's a holiday. We're going to be taking off. We'll have a rerun playing, but
I'll be ghost hunting on Labor
Day. We appreciate everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate Dave for joining us, Dave Juliano. And make sure you check out make sure you check out the ghosthunterstore.com. Thank you again, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, everybody.